Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pre-Market Live Show. Today is Tuesday, May 20th, and I hope everybody's having a great morning already. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice, so always do your due diligence. How are you guys this morning? And let's look at that heat map. It is a little bit mixed. Our Mag 7's a little bit down. Google's up. Tesla's up. NVIDIA just kind of is moving around right now. And here's your SPY. It's down, but it's not looking bad, as I've been saying, and it has looked like it wants to get into the top right here. So I am keeping an eye on it. We'll see what it wants to do, and I'll keep you guys posted. But I would be watching that Apple right here because it does look pretty good off of this little dip. And I'll show you. There you go. It does have that little curl down look. So I'll be watching it today, and I will definitely keep you posted. But it was actually obviously setting up last night going in here, and we'll keep an eye. And then we're keeping an eye, close eye on that SPY to see how much it will, if it wants to run up or pull back. You can see it hitting the top here. Some of them look like they want to get into the top. So it's right there, guys. And I'm telling you, there's some good, healthy pullback on its way. So we will be watching this thing and to see what it wants to do this week. First, let's go through our Joe Leash jumpers and see what's going on there. And we have ARMP right here, Armada Therapeutics. And here we go, ARMP. And that did run up yesterday, pull back a little bit. Look at that setup right there. Keep an eye. It could try to run up a little bit more, but it was a pretty healthy pop yesterday. Where'd it go? It went 346. Oh, whoop, hold on. It went, it gapped up. That's what it did. Okay, so yeah, the day before it closed at 142, and yesterday it opened at 346 and it made its way down. But like I said, it still looks pretty good. So keep an eye on that ARMP right there. BDSX. Let's see what this one's up to. This one's still kind of just curling up. As you can see, it's curling up, and then it'll be pulling back. So that's that run you see is as it curls up to the MACD, and then we know that pattern. They come back down, and we've been following that pattern for a while. It's not going anywhere yet. And BIAF. Let's see, that one is up right there. It looks like it could be up this morning. Yeah, it looks like it's running around right there, 30 to 36. It's back to 28. But that one, keep an eye on. That could run up some more. And good old bond right here, BON. We knew about this one right here, BON. So definitely one that we were talking about after the reverse split, 169 to 220. It's back to 158 already. That's pretty amazing that they run up and down like that. But it's still up a little bit from yesterday, and it's not looking bad. EYEN, Inovia, and we looked at this last night. And let's see, when was that running up? It was running up a little yesterday. Kept that momentum this morning and 185 to 232. And I'm sure Laptop Travel had his eye on that. Good morning, David, Laptop Travel, Luis Rodriguez, and everybody else. How are we? Asian Joe Lee, Barbara, Doge Mama 9, and the whole crew that comes on. And GTI, we were looking at this one, and it looked like it wanted to race up a little bit. And let's see. It is trying to move back up. It was yesterday. And this morning, it's even running around. So we were looking at that GTI, and that is moving. IXHL, another one, that healthcare one that took that huge dip. And it does appear that it's trying to curl back up. And usually when they run, they come back down and set back up. We'll watch this one to see if it is. It looks like it's trying to, and at the same time, it looks like it's pulling back. So it's an interesting look for IXHL. I will definitely keep an eye on that one. OKUR right here. Let's see what OKUR is doing. Remember, we said that was looking okay to get out of the basement, and it appears it was yesterday. Let's see. That looks like it could be yesterday. It is yesterday's date. So it is moving yesterday, not yet today anyway on here. And SRXH, this one looks like it's going to be a good one right here. You might want to keep an eye on that guy, SRXH. That is trying to get set up right there, looking pretty good. SRXH right there, not looking bad. I'm going to keep an eye on that. And what is this? SRXH, is that what that? No, SRXH. I was going to say, that's definitely not the same chart as I was just looking at. XH. SRXH. There it is. That's the chart I wanted to look at. I don't know what the other one was, but you can see this one looks like it's about getting ready to pop. SRXH right there. So keep an eye on that one. That one looks really good. SYTA right here, and this one's in the top running up today. Obviously, you're going to want to be careful with it as it's in the top. Let's see if it's a momentum play. It was yesterday, more or less. We've looked at that before. And XPON 360, and let's see, that one has pulled back a little bit. Let me just take a better look at it. XPON, it did run up today or yesterday. That is today. It ran up some, but it is pulling back, so you got to be careful with that one. But it did just spike up there. And there you go with your Jolie's jumpers. Thank you, Asian Jolie. And we'll hop into our laptop lowdowns. And good morning, Lakeisha Williams. How are you this morning? And let's see, AMST. Let's see what's going on here. AMST, Amosite. And that one had recently run up. It is pulling back. So, of course, we're going to look for it to try to roll back off of there, AMST. But that had a good spike up in that. AREB, American Rebel Holdings right here. That was a big popper recently. And obviously, it's probably getting set up as they do like to run up big, come back down, and get set back up. And, yeah, it is trying. That could be that bottom right there after that pullback. We'll see. The 20s all the way up here at 302 or at 231. So it could be trying to. I'll look at that today to see how it's running. And BON, we just looked at it, is up 26 cents and moving. And that CGTL, we were talking about this one recently. And then it took a dip. Remember, it ran up. We looked at it down here and right around here. I don't know which day, but it ran up. And then yesterday, it took a big old dip down there, CGTL. So I'll keep an eye on it and see what it wants to do. But it did run up pretty well. It looked like it wanted to spike up even more, but it never got cruising, and then it just came back down. But it was pretty good there. And GRI, that GRI, and GRI Bio or whatever, that one looks like it's trying to set up right here. Let's see. Yeah, that one is not looking bad down there. GRI to try to set up, and IMNN. Let's see what IMNN. Oh, that's way down in the basement. So we'll be watching that one trying to get set up. And INTS right here is at Intensity Therapeutics, and it didn't have any intensity yet. Had a nice dip there the other day. I know we looked at that, and I have been just keeping an eye on this thing to see when it wants to get set up, but it hasn't been ready. As you can see, it tried to right around there and then came back down, so it wasn't fully ready yet. And I am keeping an eye on that one. And KIDZ came down 10 cents. That was set up the other day. It ran up, let it pull back, and probably roll back off that MACD. So they have been running around, but you can see it's trying to get set back up right there and try to get back into that channel. Make sure it does, and it will get cruising up again for KIDZ and NCEW. We've been looking at this Hong Kong company, and it's way down here, and it's going to start that curl up. It looked like it ran up a little bit yesterday. As a matter of fact, it was popping around there, and it is looking a little bit better. So watch it. It will start to move as it's curling up. But again, you got to be careful because they can pull back and close lower than the price from the day before. It's pretty wild how that happens. And this Robin Energy right here, RBNE, I'm keeping an eye on these and these energy sector ones because they've been pulling back but getting ready to run. So we are watching that one for sure. And SUNE we looked at last night. It had pulled back there. So let's see what it's up to. SUNE is like Sun Nation or something. There you go. Sun Nation Energy, another energy one. And again, pulled back. But you know that these energy ones are going to get rocking and rolling. So we're going to be watching for that. And X4 right here, XFOR. And let's see what's up. This thing looks like it's trying to curl up right there, XFOR. And yeah, it's not bad. 314 came down to 284 at 292 right there. It should be yesterday. It is. And it's just in the basement. And again, we'll look and see if it tries to make a base and level down or if it actually tries to get set up there. And there you go for your laptop lowdowns. Thank you very much, Laptop Travel. Let me know if you guys want to see anything, and we will take a look at it. Let's go through our SPY and big cap, see what it's up to. The SPY is just hanging out right there. Like I said, it's getting to that top area, and you just can't tell. Is it going to curl into the top and make a major run? It looks like it wants to, but it's not a guarantee here. So we have to keep a close eye on it and see what it wants to do today. It does look like it wants to go up a little bit more there. And obviously, if it can poke itself into the top, we know it can run a little more. We do have a short week next week, so I could see some pullback coming in here. And you can see it on the charts right there. So just be careful, and we'll try to find the exact top when they are topping out. And then they'll be moving back down for sure, and we'll play it that way. Accordingly, here is Apple. It is down 60 cents. And like I said, I'm just keeping a close eye on this. You can see that setup right there. It is pulling back a little bit, but it also looks like it wants to go up. So that's why I am keeping an eye on it, just watching to see if it's trying to move. Look at it. It bent down a little bit more this morning, so it was way set up last night, and that's why I said I was keeping an eye on this. And obviously, we know that this can get turned right back around in the morning, so I am watching these things real close today and just seeing what's going on, because look at this thing. It is way up there, and it could easily curl, could easily come back down, but it is in that spot on the support line and has that setup look. So we will be keeping an eye on Apple right there just to see if it wants to get cruising. And here is Amazon. And let's see what that is up to right now. And that one looks like it has that same look, like it can pull back, but they could roll off it as well. So we do know that, but it is right in that spot where it can start to pull back. But you can see they pull back and go up too. And that's what it looks like. They look like they want to try to get into that top and just finish out the run so that they can come back down. And again, look where they went before. We know they went from tops to bottoms, guys. Everything did. So you can easily be seeing that happen again as it's setting back up and moving. And that's what I was talking about last night. It's just a matter of how much Trump lets it pull back there. And I'm sure they have some crazy plan. Google's looking pretty good right here this morning, and that one is cruising up some. So there you go for Google. Not bad right there. And good old Meta right here is pulled back as well. And you can see, look at them curling down, but are they completely topped out? And they're definitely coming down. Usually they start coming down a little bit faster. So they look like they want to try to curl up a little bit and run up, but it's not a guarantee. That's why I am definitely keeping an eye on it closely today. And Microsoft, I think, is getting topped out right here. So I think Microsoft may be at that top area. And NVIDIA right here. Let's see what NVIDIA is doing. That's in the top as well. And again, look at these things. But NVIDIA has that earnings coming up at the end of the month, and it's going to be a big one. And by that point, you should see it come back down and maybe roll off the MACD. And that's why I'm saying they are a little bit crazy right here to see. You know they're going to be dipping hard, but you just can't tell exactly when it's going to happen. And but you can see it's pretty soon. So we will be keeping a close eye on everything right here. And Tesla, that is cruising back up a little bit more. So Tesla's looking pretty good, getting back into the top. And this is what I'm saying. It was in the top, pulling back out, and now it's trying to get back in there. So they do have the ability to do that. And you can see Microsoft now in the video looking a little better. So yeah, so just keep your eye on all these things, because they could get turned back around with no problem. We've seen it almost every single morning, and it has that look, but it is a pretty wild look right there. It almost looks like it's trying to get topped out. So I'll be keeping an eye on the SPY and really seeing what it wants to do today. And here we go with our other here's our other big caps and our Roaring Kitty crew right here. And AMC was just kind of hanging out, making a base. And again, everything is running up, so you can kind of see they're getting to the tops, but that looks like it's still trying to set up to squeeze a little more. So they look like they still have some juice left in the tank, but we just have to be careful here and make sure that they do. That's the only thing. And if they do, Apple will be a good one, because it's right down there, and that's why I've been watching Apple. And it's right on that support lines too. And GameStop right here, you can see is curling back down. And let's see what GameStop's doing. GameStop could pull back right there. It did run up pretty well, but it does look like it's trying to pull back at the moment. And Chewy, this thing's been a monster, and it's way in the top, and I would say that's probably going to be topped out as well if I type it in right, CHWI. And yeah, this thing's way at the top, so be very careful with that one. And what is the other one? Unity. That was it. And that was kind of pulling back here, and that looks like it's trying to make a base to get cruising again, but could pull back. So they look a little wild right there. What was AMC trying to get set up again? That was already run up there, so it is trying to get set up still. I'm telling you, they have that odd look about them, and I think today we'll be able to figure out a little bit better with the SPY what it wants to do. Yesterday, you could tell it wanted to run up there, and it was poking its head at the top, as you can see, and it can get turned right back around, but at the same time, it could pull back. It just doesn't look like it wants to, and you would think it would have gotten sold off already, but you just never know in this market because anything can happen like that. Some kind of crazy news. I don't think they want the market to sold off. I think they would rather get into the top, buy them some more time. You get back to these all-time highs. That's what it was looking like yesterday, and then you have a lot of room to come back down. Obviously, it's happened just here, and then they can make that market do it. They already know they had control of it, and they can do it. So it buys them time, try to get the rates down, get everything figured out, and then try to get that market booming for midterm election time, because that's when it's going to be important. And they got to have that market cruising if he wants to even think about winning the midterm. So that is what you are looking at right there. And let's go through the rest of these guys and see what our big caps are doing here. Here is Netflix pulled back $3. And look at this thing in the top. Has that look like it could go either way, like it could go cruising right up, but it could also come dipping right down. And I think today is a big day, but they do look like they want to stay up there at the moment and go up a little higher. That's just what they look like. So I'll be keeping an eye on it. AVGO, I have a feeling that these could be pulling back, though, because look at them. I mean, they're in the top, and it does look like it could be done for AVGO right there. Obviously, it can roll off and have that last bit of gas up here and keep itself in, but you know it's going to be coming down. They do have earnings, I would assume, on them earnings coming up at the beginning of June. They'll be pulling back for that at least. And MU right here is pulling back, hitting that resistance and at that top area. So do I think it may get over that resistance, but I don't think so. And TSM, that same exact look, but they don't look bad. They are pulling back a little bit right here, but you see them pulling back and then get ripping back up. But they are up at that top. I could see them pulling back right here. TSM, look at it. Then again, it can pull back to set up and run up again and actually bust into the top and finish out the run. So I'm just telling you what we're looking at. You can't really pinpoint it just yet, but I'm telling you what you're looking at for, what you're looking for, and what I'm obviously keeping my eye on. And SMCI looks like it does want to crawl up there and try to run up a little bit more. So that's what I'm saying. They have that look like they want to, and that is why I have Apple on watch right there. So you just want to keep an eye and see. And look at AMD. That does look like it could want to get back into that top and move. I know it pulled back yesterday, and I was surprised when it was hitting the top and pulled back. Maybe they needed a little more healthy pullback and a little more momentum to get them cruising up there. So if that curls up, it's right into the top, and then they can run and finish out that run. So it is one of them things where they look like they want to do it, but it's not a guarantee just yet. So we got to keep our eye on things and just make sure. QCOM looked like it did want to go back up some more, and it's obviously looks like it's down a little bit in the pre-market, and it is pulling back, but that setup's really good right there, and it's pulling back. So again, it doesn't make any sense. I was looking at some of these this morning to get a better idea, and I was just like, what the heck is going on here? This is bizarre, but you know something's going on. So you don't know if they want to finish that run in the top or if they're coming back down. If they come back down, we're going to see some nice pullback here. So just be prepared for it. And Intel INTC, again, look at it in that channel. It looks like it wants to roll off and finish that run up there. So that's just what they look like. I can't guarantee it, but that's what they look like at the moment. And PayPal has that same look. And Snow was coming down, but going back up a little bit, and it's still in the top. And they do have earnings coming up. When is that? Tomorrow, Snow has earnings. I can see that coming down, but look at that thing. It looks like it wants to roll up and finish that run. So it is very interesting here. And how about Dell? It's in the top, just sitting right there. Palantir up there in between them trend lines, trying to run up a little bit higher at the moment. And Sophie right here is trying to run up and in between two trend lines, trying to get curled up, move up right there. And how about your Marin Riot? They're not looking bad either. They look like they're trying to curl up at the moment and get cruising. Clean Spark right here was not looking bad. It's jumped up a little bit. And MicroStrategy is down a hair, but not looking bad. But at the same time, look at it coming down right there. I mean, they are very interesting looks. And, I've been saying Bitcoin and crypto is going to have that pullback. And look at MicroStrategy. It looks like it's going to come down, guys. I mean, it does have your 20 right here at 392, but it could obviously pull back right there. And we're going to see a nice, healthy pullback, as I've been mentioning. And here, that's MicroStrategy. And as a matter of fact, Bitcoin's at 105 right there. Solana's at what? 165, I think it just said. And Ethereum is at 24.99. So looks like it's like right there. Yep, there you go. And Bitcoin 104. It's just going between. It says 105 like zero something, like just over. So it's just jumping around. Solana 165. So it is very accurate. That stock cube is amazing. And Ripple 233 and your Cardano 72. So there you go. That's exactly what it said. And it is a little bit red. Whoa, I don't even know what I just hit. But anyway, here we go. Let's look at it. And like I said, they've been at the top and trying to push in there. And they do look like they're topping out and coming back down, guys. I've been talking about this for a few days now, and you're starting to see it. So we'll see if the market's going to do the exact same thing right here. You can see Bitcoin starting to pull back right there. So it kind of needed to. It's run up to its basic all-time highs again, as you can see. I mean, not quite there, but almost right there. It was up there the other day. Well, that's Solana. But anyway, that's not its all-time highs, but Bitcoin, I was just on it. It was running up there at its all-time highs. You had it up at 106 again, as you can see. And so, yeah, you're getting up there, and it looks like it wants to pull back some. So that is what it looks like. The market looks like it could have some good pullback here. And obviously, it won't be the end of the world. It'll just be, it just has to pull back a little bit because they've run up to the top like crazy. I just wanted to see Ripple, and I don't even know what I'm doing over here. But anyway, let me pull up Ripple right there. And yeah, look at this thing. Looks like it is trying to pull back some. So they did basically run all the way to the top, and you can see the market's not looking so bad as the time goes on. The SPY's coming back up a little bit. It does look like it wants to try to. I'm telling you, it's like right there. It's the craziest look you can ever see. But it does look like at the moment it wants to go up. So let's go ahead and see what you guys want to see. And then let's see what else we can find going on. So you know what I'm taking a look at today and what I'm keeping a close eye on. Here we go. Barbara Cask. Let's look at it real quick. CASK. And that one is looking pretty good. How about that off of that trend line CASK? I know someone mentioned it the other day. And look at that bad boy, was running up yesterday. And I would say it's trying to keep that momentum and run off of that bottom and trend line. And yeah, I think Cask could be a really good one. That winery and distillery people are looking to drink right now. And ABP right here. Let's see what you're up to. ABP. And that one's a little bit flat this morning. I think we looked at it. Maybe last night it was moving. And then today, let's see, it is just kind of hanging out in that channel, but I could see it getting set up. It's just completely flat at the moment. 27, you can see it pulled back, if anything, but nothing crazy right there, just literally flat for ABP. So remind me, and I'll look at that today. And let's see what else you guys are checking out over here. Luis Rodriguez, good morning on vacation. Look at him hopping on. And BLMZ. Let's see what that's up to. Is that David wanted to see BLMZ. Good old Blooms was up this morning, and it is running up over 100%. There you go. And we mentioned this one recently as it was getting set up. So, again, we are early on a lot of them. You know that. And we did mention it. I remember it did run up, and then it was pulling back there, and boom, now it's running up again. So there's your BLMZ, and see if it keeps the momentum, but you can see it usually runs up and pulls back. Maybe it'll be different this time. It does look pretty good right there as it's trying to set up, and it does look like it's blooming up there. So BLMZ, nice pop up this morning. And how about that RGTI running and setting up, guys? And this thing does look really good. And how about your QMCO? Because that's up even more, guys. And I told you this thing was looking good yesterday. And there you go. So that was a beautiful pop right there. And again, $10 on Friday afternoon. So it is setting up, not looking bad. Maybe it pulls back a little bit, but you could see that setup happening. And we'll just go through these guys. And QUBT, some of these already ran up, but they're looking good. Look at QUBT running up in the top some more. So you can keep that momentum right there. And QBTS, D-Wave, that looks like it's going to run into the top some more and keep it. And QTUM is the ETF. It's hitting that resistance and it's in the top. So you can see these things are like right there, but they are popping up some more. And that's what the market looks like it wants to do, just like this IONQ. And we've talked about this one recently, and look at it. Looks like it wants to get into the top. So that's what it looks like. They get into the top, they're going to be cruising right there. And ZSPC right here is just, oh, this one might be a good one to really keep our eye on now, because that one's been way down. And you see what the other ones are doing. And I think ZSPC could try to get cruising right there. So you might want to keep an eye on that one as well, that Z space. So there you go with them. And yeah, the market does not look bad. Like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this Apple. It's right there, and it's got that crazy look as it's pulling back. So that's why I am looking at it, see if we catch a good price. And if that curls up, that thing is going wild, guys. So just I'll be keeping an eye and seeing what that's up to today. And let's see, SLN. That one was that Silence Therapeutics was looking good. It just popped its head into the top. There we are, and there you go. It is not moving just yet, but it looks like it's going to keep that momentum today for SLN. And we were looking at that down here. I remember Luis Rodriguez was mentioning that one not long ago. And UNH, look at this thing running up to 323 and trying to get out of the top. Again, I don't know if it's going to crawl through right there, but it will probably stay out of that basement, out of the top, out of the basement, as you can see. And I do think you might see a little pullback right there, but what a pop up. And we called that one too as the bottom at that, what, 250 it was? Yeah, 248. So there you go with that one. That was a beauty. And EYEN, we did check that out. Let's see. That is up again. And it's not looking bad. The market is a little choppy, but look how the it's right into the top right there and not looking bad. So I would be keeping an eye on EYEN, Inovia right there. And let's see what else is going on right here, UNH. And how about Google right here? Let me see. Oh, there we go. Google, and that is moving up this morning. So yeah, look, Google still has some room to run up a little bit more right there. It's not even at the top, and Google not looking bad. So I would say keep an eye on that. And that DGLY surprise split on Thursday it is. And wow, they just split the other day and they're going to do another one. That's pretty wild. So if they're going to split again on Thursday, 1 for 100, that would be pretty crazy. That's I don't even know how they do that at 3 cents. Well, I guess you can and try to get it up there, but they just did the reverse split. And is this the one that reverse split? And I couldn't even tell, I think, right? And I was like, what the heck even happened? So yeah, there you go, DGLY. So we'll watch for that one. And the video right there, CVCV right there. And yeah, it's in the top. Be careful with it. Again, they look like they do want to run up a little bit higher, but they can come back. I am watching the Mag 7 SPY very closely today. And that APDN had taken a nice dip down here, but that could be your ultimate bottom after that dip. We'll see if it's trying to level out to go down a little bit more, but you can see it's trying to curl up, and it's over the MACD, so you should get a roll off right there is what it looks like. Your MACD or your 20s coming down for it. It's at 82. It was right there trying to get set up and then just got crushed down there. So I will obviously, we watched this one for a little while, and we'll watch it again to see if we can catch that bottom on the ride up, because that'll be a decent one. And that healthcare triangle thing was running like a maniac yesterday, and it's not looking bad today. Like I said, keep your eye on this HCTI. it is going to run around like crazy as it's trying to get curled up there. It ran up yesterday pretty big. Today it's still trying to run up a little bit. So you keep your eye on it, and it is trying to curl up there. Not so sure. It gets out of the basement, but look at it. It is on that trend lines right there. It's way down there. So keep your eye on that thing. That's not looking bad, Larry, and good morning to you. And CRWV, what is that doing here? CRWV, that cute core weave. Mentioned this the other day, as a matter of fact, and it is cruising up some more. So we did see this the other day. I forgot to plug in my phone, but anyway, here we go. And let's see what else is going on over here. But there's your core weave, and I'll take a look and see if I see anything else happening. We'll go through the scanners and all that. But you are in the top. That is a new one, and it did run up there. So just be careful as it's in that top already. And you're talking about the DGLY. They did a useless reverse split the first time, and today is a deadline for compliance plans. So yeah, that's, I remember saying, what the heck even happened? It was a 1-for-20 split, and you couldn't even tell it did anything. And it's still at 3 cents. Usually when you split them, you get them to move a little bit higher. That thing was nowhere. And they are going to do another reverse split right here. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one for sure. And let's just see where is our SPY real quick, down 48 cents. And again, not looking bad this morning. So they are just in that spot. Yeah, the SPY is not looking bad, but it is getting into a spot. It's got to get into the top to really look better, guys. So that's what I'm looking at. If it can't get in, and it does, it looks like it wants to get up to that 610. And if it gets into the top, you're getting up there. So that is exactly what I am looking at, and why I like Apple right there. It's down a little bit this morning, but it's sitting right on that trend line. So obviously can be a really good opportunity. You can see I'm watching right here if it's going to pull back or if it's going to curl it up right there. And it was obviously right there in a good spot, and your 20 and 50 were meeting up, and now they're doing a little weird meet up right here as it kind of made a little directional. So it could come back down, but it depends on the SPY. The SPY will control it, and that's why I'm watching that real close. And AREC earnings estimates for 2025, I guess, is looking to outdo everything they've done in years right here. So that is that American Resource Corporation, and it does look like it's coming back down. Filtrate, I would look for it to come back down maybe a little more right there to get set back up. Their earnings might be out, or their earnings today, I'm not exactly sure, but I know they had earnings back there. It's set in March, so whenever their earnings are, but it does look like it's pulling back a hair right there. So we will be watching that one, and that was a really good one. You nailed that one. That one went cruising. And Luis Rodriguez said, Jamie Dimon says the market is complacent on tariffs and expects a pullback in the market. And I agree, because again, they put the 90-day pause on there or whatever they did, and they're making deals. Now the deals aren't on the table just yet, but everybody knows they're trying to make deals. So that's where you see the pullback happen. And then you can obviously see them start ripping again once they start announcing them deals. And that's what I think the plan is. You get them, and that's why I think they want to get this into the top right here, because you get them into the top and you can go from bottoms to tops just like they were. They were at the tops before. You could see how they were hitting up here, and they were hitting these trend lines. So you would assume they would want it back up there to come back down and maybe get them like right in this area into the, you'll see a really good dip again, and then they bring them back up with some momentum. So that's what it looks like. And as long as they don't go and dip lower than the last dip down here and they keep it up higher, you're going to get yourself into a bullish look right there. And they know what the heck they're doing. Like I said, I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've been doing this for a pretty long time. Never saw a presidency or any kind of any administration come in and do something like this. It's wild. So that's what I'm assuming is going to happen. And again, I'm looking at the charts and basing things off of the charts as always, but trying to factor in what their administration is trying to accomplish at that moment. And that's what it looks like to me. If I was trying to play with these things, I try to put myself in their shoes and say, what would I like to do best right here? Because they obviously have control. What would be the best case scenario for the market, for them to build time and to achieve what they need to achieve, which we know get the rates down. So That is what it looks like. And maybe the SPY sits there today. Look at it sitting there and then it curls up tomorrow. But it does look like it wants to push in the top. It's just not ready yet. And that is why Apple is on watch right here. It's down like 85 cents and it's sitting right on that trend line. I mean, it is crazy right there. Look at that thing. And look, remember the lines were separated? And it does, guys, I'm telling you, something's going on right here. So I'll be watching it closely. You keep an eye on Apple as well if you like that one. And let's see what else. Did I miss anything else over here? And let's see. Earnings growth complacent on tariffs. Expects S&P 500 earnings growth to collapse right there. So yeah, that is Jamie Dimon saying that. And what is Powell speaks when on Sunday. So Powell speaks, Jerome Powell commencement address right there on Sunday at 2:40. What a day to have a speech, huh? Well, how do they pick these things? It's so bizarre. Who does? When's the Fed doing anything on a Sunday? It's just kind of weird. But anyway, they are speaking apparently, according to Luis Rodriguez right there. And let's see what the market's doing. What else we can pick out right here and see what's popping. But again, Bloom's is, and we're just kind of waiting to see what that SPY wants to do. It's in a spot where you got to keep an eye on it to see exactly what it wants to do there. And HCTI right here, we already knew about this one, and that PLRZ we've been looking at and waiting for that to bottom out down there. And your EYEN and IXHL and good old GTI. And here's your NCNA. We were looking at this as well. And let's see. It is making that curl up, guys. So I would say NCNA is going to be a good one right here as well. You can see it curling up and going to try to make that move. But again, is it going to get through the MACD, or are you just going to get that little run up as it curls up? And it did run up some yesterday too, so that could have been the run up. And it just depends. The market's just like at that spot where it is difficult to tell. I am not going to lie, but it is sitting in one of them spots right now. But as the day moves on, we'll be able to see it a lot better. So I'll definitely be keeping you guys posted. And GNLN just down here under a penny. Aren't you glad you didn't chase it up over a penny right there and watch it closer to under half a penny? Because that would be pretty bad. And that QBTS and them quantum ones running up. We called them ones BON. Running up off that reverse split. Oh, I saw this yesterday, LAES, and that's up another 10%. That's one of the semiconductor ones. And Logic Mark, let's look at that one this morning and see what it's doing. Let me just open it. It's right there. Here we go, Logic Mark, and it is just a tiny little pullback. It is pulling back a little bit, so got to keep an eye on that thing to see what it wants to do, because it did come under the 20, and it could just get set up as well. Again, these things are all in a crazy, crazy spot right now. You can tell the semiconductor, the quantum ones and these computer hardware ones were looking great, obviously, and that's why we had to jump in some of them. That FAAS had run up yesterday. And Edible right here, Edible Gardens running up. It looks like pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, that was running up today and not looking bad to try to curl up some more. So keep an eye on your Edible Gardens right there. Not looking too bad. And let's see what else is going on here. That pony had run up a lot, but we had seen that early. And let me see if I see anything else going on this side real quick. And then we'll call it a morning and see what's happening. I'll keep you guys posted because, like I said, that market is in one of them spots where it's crazy. There's your Edible and Blooms right there. And BIAF has been crawling up right there. So you keep an eye. I don't know if it's going to cross through, but it is crawling up. And there's your HCTI. And that KTTA we looked at yesterday kind of pulling back at the moment. So that is what we're looking at the moment right here. And let me see if I see anything else. What else is going on here? Oh yeah, ETF is at a 4.2 million market cap, and maybe that one finally bottomed out there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. Everything, I'm telling you, 4.3 right there is what it says. And let's see, that chart does not look bad to be that bottom area. So obviously keeping an eye on that each day, and I'll keep you posted. But it does look like it got down in bull. Let's see if that finally bottomed out. We were watching for that one, and it does look like it's trying. I mean, you'll probably get some run up on that curl up, but I don't know if it's exactly ready to get cruising yet. but it does look like it has some room to run up right here. So you can keep an eye on bull right now. That does look like it's going to be curling up at the moment anyway. So keep an eye on that one. And let's see what else is going on. That QBTS, obviously, we looked at all them, and that thing's way up there. They're running up pretty nice. And let's see, a bunch of crypto and ASPI. What is that doing? ASP isotopes. We looked at that yesterday. And now it's jumped up there. And CRWV is at CoreWeave, and that has jumped up. So there you go. I would say that's what we're looking at. And what is QMCO at right now? 1443 and moving its way to the top right there. So not looking bad, and that does not look bad this morning. So them guys were looking good, and that was a nice hit right there. But again, is it gonna? It does look like it's trying to push. It's curling up there, looking pretty good, I must say. And let's see where our SPY is to end it. It's down 67 cents and not looking bad at the moment. So let's see what it wants to do today, and I'll keep you guys posted. But it is at that spot where it's like it needs to get into the top. Let's put it that way. It was trying to yesterday, a little pullback. I guess if it hung out today, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it has to get up into that top. If it's going to really get pushing to them all-time highs again or get moving the market again. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one to see what is happening there. So there you go, everybody. I'd say that's a good pre-market review. We know what to look for. I'll keep you guys posted on the SPY and what's going on. And let me know if you guys see anything. And what was Adobe at anyway? I was looking at that. It is down a little bit, and that was in the top. So, yeah, these things are getting topped out. You're going to see some good pullback. It's just a matter if they have a little more gas left in the tank. They look like they're trying to. S&P 500 futures slip. Home Depot's to keep prices on hold. And there you go. That's a good one. And S&P 500 future slip after benchmark index rises for 6th straight day. Crypto's looking a lot less dicey amid the chaos and an awkward G7. And the Morgan Stanley investor warns of 3 big disconnects with stocks on the verge of a bull market. And I'm telling you, that market looks absolutely insane today, guys. So it is a bizarre look in the market. So I will be keeping an eye to see what the SPY wants to do and everything else, and keep you guys posted. So there you go with a nice little pre-market review. And Powell's speech is at Princeton. Oh, it's a commencement speech. Okay, thank you, Luis Rodriguez. So it's a commencement speech at Princeton. They are graduating. And they got Jerome Powell. I wonder how much they had to pay him to come speak at the commencement speech. That's pretty crazy. And ARK did less than $400K in revenue for the end of 2024. Q1 estimated revenue is over $5 million. I believe it just with that big run-up fill trade that I had the other week when we were talking about it right there. So, and again, it got into the top and then it has to pull back. It does look like it has to pull back to set up a little bit. So it's not looking terrible. It's just the way the charts work. And that's why the charts tell you everything. And that's why I'll be grilling this SPY today and really seeing what it's doing, because it is just jumping around a little bit here, up and down. And we have to be able to tell exactly what that's doing, because if not, you can't really see anything else. And it will control the rest of the market. That IWM, the Russells, this is like the small cap in the same position right here. So interesting look for everything, that's for sure. And I will keep you guys posted. And real quick, AEVA, what's that one? That one looks like, and again, look at this thing coming down at the top. I wouldn't chase it, that's for sure. AEVA, you could get that curl up again because it's sticking itself in the top, and it could run up, but it's one of them ones I would not mess with. I don't like them once they peak out like that. You can see, like, you know, that's your top right there. Can you risk getting back up there? I don't know. It's it could get a little run into it, so you can look and see if it curls back up, if it can get that momentum right there. But that's what you would be looking at for that. And I'll keep you guys posted on the SPY. And I'd say that's a good pre-market review. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. As always, and all information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll keep you guys posted, and we'll see what's going on. Be sure to trade smart and lock in those profits. Goodbye. Good luck. See you later, and have a great day, everybody.